So we have accessed Google and we introduced the concept of networking. Now, the access of Google is pretty complicated. So what we are going to do is we are going to cut it down. We are going to use divide and conquer. For that, we need to develop a small application. In fact, 2 applications in Python. And we are going to monitor that application throughout this training. So what we are going to do is we are going to install something called Python, which is a programming language. Another thing we are going to install is Visual Studio Code to help assist us to develop code in Python. Now, to monitor this networking application, which we are going to develop, we are going to use something called Wireshark. Probably you are new to all of these things. Don't worry, I'll take you through it, each and every step. Now, let's get into it. First, we are going to install Python. For that, we are going to Google and type Python download. So I'm downloading the Windows version which I have right now. And this is a version which is the latest right now. So you may have a different latest version of Python. So one of the things worth doing is add Python to path. I'm not checking it because I have other Pythons in the path, but you can check this particular add Python to path. So this will help recognizing Python by Visual Studio Code and all that kind of things. So pretty straightforward installation, nothing specific about it. All default otherwise. So it is successful and we are going to do the next installation, which is Visual Studio Code. Again, in Google, you can type Visual Studio Code, or you can go to code.visualstudio.com like you are seeing in the screen. So I'm downloading Visual Studio Code. If you have any doubts in any of these things, or you want to learn more about it, feel free to look into the other trainings which I have. I have a Python training which introduces you to a lot of these things. Pretty much everything default in the Visual Studio Code installation. Again, Visual Studio Code is success. You should see something like this. I already had Visual Studio Code in this particular machine. So some of the existing stuff you can see out there, but you should get a plain empty look of it. Now, next we are going to install Wireshark. Again, in Google, download Wireshark. I'm going to go with the x64 version. So I'm downloading Wireshark. I will shortly tell you what is the purpose of all these things. So Wireshark download is complete. Let's go ahead and install it. So the installation may look slightly different for you because I already installed it. Normally it asks for npcap installation, etc. But otherwise it's all default, straightforward. If you have any doubts, please reach out. Again, it is success. So we have installed all the things we needed. One more thing we would like to install is the Python extension for Visual Studio Code. So let's do that as well as a final item. So for that, into the extension icon here in Visual Studio Code, which you can see right here. So this blue bar right here. So we can select Python after typing Python here. So it should look something like this. Again, if you are new to any of these things, I recommend my Python training. But for the time being, you can simply install the extension like so. So in this case, I already have the extension. That's why it is showing uninstall. Otherwise, in your case, it should be install. To conclude, we have installed Python, Visual Studio Code, and Wireshark. Now let's see what we are going to do with all these tools.